Draft night Thursday. We get a chance every year to catch up with Ryan Carr, the Vice President of Player Personnel. Let's hear some of that conversation. It's quite a long conversation, but I think it's pretty illuminating.
Yeah, the process really, is largely the same every year. Every year we review it, we add stuff to it, we try to get better at it. I think the caliber of player is a higher talent, but I don't think it affects the process in terms of evaluation and all the different things that go into making a decision on a player. You're still doing a lot of work on them as people, doing a lot of, analytics still does their thing. The evaluation, we're watching everybody, whether they're going to get picked first or go undrafted. So I don't know that the process changes a lot, but I think obviously the potential of the players is a higher potential.
I know you guys evaluate your internal processes a lot. After a successful draft last year with Chris and Isaiah, is there anything you did last year for the first time that you took away and said, yeah, we got to do that again this year?
There's always things that we go back and we add, we take out, we change. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose, exactly what we do or why we do it, but if you're not trying to improve, just like anything. I mean, I'd assume you guys too, you do what you do and you try to get better at it. We do it the same. We want every pick to be successful. I've been fortunate enough to be here a lot of years that over the years we've learned a lot in what we do and how we do it and, trying to refine it.
How tough is it to build a board? And you're at 6 now, but you can move up, you can move back. How difficult is that to prepare for every contingency?
Yeah, well, in this case, you're only dealing with 5 picks in front of you, so you can almost, we feel like there's probably 7 players that could go in those 5 spots, barring a huge curveball, which is always possible. So in that way, I think you have less scenarios that could go when you're picking 25 trying to figure out who for sure could be there. That's actually a little bit harder. But we feel really good about where we are. We always do those exercises, move up, move down, move back. As Kevin and Chad, those guys work through, what those different possibilities are. We prepare for them, give our recommendations, and make sure that we can answer any questions.
What do you need to get out of this draft to feel like it's been a success?
Well, obviously, you guys know, 32 years, right? That we've traded in. I think Jonathan Bender and Al Harrington we traded into pretty high to get, but it's been a long time. And obviously, you want every player you pick, no matter what number, to succeed. But the 6th pick, this guy, we want him to be a foundational piece for us and are looking forward to adding that piece.
How exciting is it to have that opportunity to be in the top 10, to have a chance to get, like you said, a foundational piece? Yeah,
it's a lot of fun right now. I would say the season to get here wasn't a whole lot of fun, but hopefully this is the reward for all the players, our guys, going through a tough season and our whole staff, and being able to, hopefully help us, get back to where we want to be.
How much different is the process when you're that high, meaning you have different elements that come into it? Guys only do solo workouts, guys only do private workouts, guys won't visit. Those different elements that you don't have at 18 and 23.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought a lot about that. You just work with what you can do. These are agents. It's the same agents we deal with and build trust with no matter where we draft or who we're signing. So we have good relationships. We work through it. It's, we do what we can do. They're acting in the best interest of what they think for their client. We're acting in the best interest of our team. And, we try to find where that is and what we can get done. The good thing is we've been able to talk to, be in front of anybody that we would pick. So one way or the other, we feel good about it.
I'm not sure if you can share anything, but Jaden said he had a Zoom with you guys. How was that maybe different than?
Well, we interviewed Jaden at the Combine, so we're face to face with him there. We did another Zoom to be able to follow up and spend more time with him, and it was great. I mean, he's a great kid. He's a great player. I don't think we have any reservations about him at all.
What do you like most about Jaden Ivey's game?
Man, his speed, I think, is what sets him apart. There's just not many players with that kind of speed, the ability to put the pressure on the rim and score. And then he's really improved over the past couple of years his shooting, and has shown ability to hit threes. And with somebody, I can't speak from experience, but somebody that fast, if he can hit a jumper and go by you, I don't know how you guard him. That's a pretty tough guy to guard.
Go ahead.
How far does Tier 1 expand for you?
I'm not going to give you our tiers on our draft board, but it would be great if one of those guys was there.
I don't know if pressure is the perfect word, but picking this high for the first time in 32 years, like you said, do you feel more pressure to nail this draft or not?
I don't. Look, our staff of scouts work as hard as no matter what pick we've had. We've had drafts where we didn't have any picks, and we still work as hard because you never know what's going to happen, and whoever you pick, you want to succeed. So I think the pressure we put on ourselves is pretty consistent, and we always prepare to have the first pick. That's just part of what we do and how we prepare. So it's fun. Like it's fun to have this pick. It'll be exciting to see what happens Thursday night. We feel good that we're going to get somebody that is going to be a great pacer.
How do you watch the draft? Do you watch it at home, or do you
No,
come here?
no,
do you
yeah.
soak it in as a fan, kind of, or do you really dial in? How do you kind of view it? When you're watching?
I mean, I'm here. We're in the room. I actually am the one that says the name to the NBA, which is fun. If I would have told my 12-year-old self that was a job I'd have one day, I probably wouldn't have believed it. So, there's phones ringing. We're going through, just making sure Kevin has all the information, make quick decisions. That we have all that information readily available and on hand. I have as much as I could pack in my brain ready. I have everything else in front of me, just to make sure that all questions can be answered.
How important was it to get a guy like Shaden Sharp in person? Because you have film on all the other guys, but for him, he's kind of unique. Yeah,
Shaden's journey is definitely unique. He was a really, really nice kid. I think I'd give him a ton of credit. They decided that they were going to do competitive workouts, which again, I give a lot of credit for, because we haven't been able to see him a lot. You had COVID on top, and then his journey was very unique. So it was really good. We were obviously excited to get him in here, to work with him a little bit. He's really talented kid. So yeah, it was important to get him here.
What is the weight of a workout for you guys as a team?
Part of it. I think we've talked about this in the past. Like, if you really like a player and they have a bad workout, you can't just throw out years worth of evaluation on a 40-minute workout. At the same time, you don't like a player, then come in and hit every shot or do something. How does that affect you? You can't. It would be dangerous to be rash on either side, but it is something. Like, I think it's important for them to get a chance to be coached by some of your coaches and see kind of how they handle it, how quickly they pick things up, all those things. They're here to, they work with Sean, strength and conditioning. They meet the training staff. They meet so many different people. The on-court workout, the 40 minutes, is important, but the rest of the day is equally important.
What have you enjoyed the most personally throughout this process?
Man, I love the stories of the kids. Like, I'm kind of a softie at heart, and I love learning about the kids. I love each of their journey. Every single one of them is so unique. However many years I've been here, 19, 20, whatever it is, there's no two the same. And it's really cool to go through this part of it with them, talk to them. This is a huge, huge moment in their life. And, to kind of see that through their eyes, especially as you get a little bit older, and you reflect back, or my kids are starting to get to some of the same ages as some of these kids. It's really, really cool just to kind of see them go through this time.
Can you allow yourself to fall in love with a kid? Like you look at a trader, you hear a story, or do you need to be kind of a hard ass and not allow that kind of indulgence?
Hopefully somewhere in the middle. You are affected by kids. You naturally, just like anything, I'm sure you guys here like each other more than others, as you get together. But at the end of the day, they're basketball players. You're trying to evaluate who can be the best players. Likability isn't 100% of the, predictable, isn't 100% predictable. So, yeah, you try not to get too emotional. You're making a pretty big decision, trying to help make a big decision on who's going to be the best player for us. There's, all different people have all different personalities, and they can be successful at different things, with those different personalities. So you can't lock too much into the guy that walks out the door and you're like, man, I just love him. I wish he was friends with my kid or something like that. Like, that doesn't go into it.
What was it like to interact with
Couple more
Benedict
guys?
Matherin? Talk about stories, and he's got a pretty incredible.
He does.
Kind of bet on himself to go to different countries,
Sure.
go to different places, and prove himself every step of the way.
Yeah, it's kind of what I go back to, what I said about each of these kids and their journeys, and he's a great example. I mean, he's been through a lot. He's been to Mexico. He's been all over the place to play, and French is his first language, and I think that's again one of the most enjoyable parts is learning kind of what these guys have been through, and for a kid like him, probably has learned to use that, to motivate himself and be the player that he can be. I mean, he was a fun kid to get to know.
Kevin mentioned the determination in the draft lottery of maybe finding a guy who can really be part of the community, who wants to be here, that type of thing. How much more is that a factor now in recent years?
It's a piece of the discussion always. We want all of our players to be a part of the community, and I think the Pacers as an organization go out of their way to be a big part of the community, and it's important to us. It's important to the city and the state, and of course, that's something that you want guys that we bring here to align with.
I was happy.
Last one, guys.
Added new perspective to you guys.
Happy's super experienced. He was an agent for a long time, has a lot of connections. He's a great guy. I've known him for a long time. Worked with him a lot with his players when he was on the other side, and definitely it offers a perspective from the other side that's helpful. Another good point of view.
That's Ryan Carr. His big night coming up on Thursday as the Pacers are scheduled to select 6th and then 31st, and then the final pick in this year's NBA draft. We'll see what Ryan Carr and his staff have cooked up for the Indiana Pacers. He said, they're looking for a foundational piece. If they get it, that puts them on one track. If they don't get it, it puts them on a completely different track. Thursday night is huge for the Indiana Pacers.